At the start of the week, we weren't sure if this would be a 4-day event, if it would be a 3-day event, if we would have the event with all of the crazy water conditions, high rising water, a lot of debris, changes on Pickwick, but the Guaranteed Rate Bassmaster Elite, it did happen. Welcome into the Bassmaster Studio, sponsored by Marathon and Such. What a great 4 days of competition, 2 days of postponement leading up to it, a crazy opposite practice period, but what a result we got this week.
Pickwick Lake did not disappoint, Ronnie. The guys were catching giant largemouth, giant smallmouth, all healthy fish. It was a beautiful event. A lot of guys with limits. We almost had great percentages every day.
And we got to see the tail race portion kind of set the tone early in the week, and then those anglers farther down the lake really started to take command and be more consistent with those 20-pound bags. Chad Pipkins being one of them, 23-3 on day 3. That had him in the co-leads position, tied for first coming into the final day. A tough event on the final day for him, though. Not filling his limit when we ended Bassmaster Live, but overall, top 10, great event for Chad Pipkins, fishing it the way he was.
We made a decision.
Wanting to make some adjustments on this final day, so he went and fished for smallmouth, trying to put together his limit. A guy who really rose up the leaderboard, started the week in 22nd place, Such, but every day he got better and was in the 4th spot coming into the final day.
He had a spot way down lake on the Mississippi border where he was catching 30, 35, 40 fish a day, Ron. He was unbelievable. He and Hank Cherry were way down there.
30 to 40 fish a day, and not across the lake, on the same spot, the same region, the same stretch of bank. Tyler Rivette cranking a lot of different style crankbaits, also throwing a swim bait some. Really having his best ever Elite Series performance this week, and we got to see a little bit of it on Bassmaster Live. A very recognizable college angler.
Such a great 10?
Year, and it was his first top 10 for an elite event.
That's got to be something. Biggest paycheck probably ever then.
Yeah, speaking of a recognizable angler, our 2020 Bassmaster Classic champion, Hank Cherry, making the final day, fishing in a similar stretch as Tyler Rivette, not on the same water, not sharing water, but in that same region, doing the same pattern.
He was rocking it, Ronnie. He said he had one rock where he caught cast after cast, 10, 15, 20 fish in a row almost.
He has also been mixing in a couple of different styles and colors of crankbait, really getting on that more vertical structure, so when that water rose 6 feet from practice, a lot of the fish would have to go hundreds of yards in and out of their areas, compared to these fish who got to go up and down in the water column.
The steeper bank he looked for.
Hank Cherry feeling right at home. He's already got 2 Bassmaster victories in the state of Alabama. He was trying to make it a 3rd today.
Had the big bass for a while, a 7-11.
7-11 on day 2 helped Cherry, and a guy who was threatening that yesterday, 7-2 from Corey Johnston, 25-5 on day 3.
Second biggest bag of the event.
Came into the final day in 3rd place, and really wasn't happening this morning till he pulled up to his magic dock.
That was the deal. People, a lot of guys in that mid-lake region, their bite when the lake lowered was gone, and a couple guys moved, and that's who excelled.
His first bite on that dock was his biggest bite on that dock, and we did say that, Such. We figured we were going to run out of water from Wilson at some point of them pumping so much through early in the event. What point are we going to run that lake dry? Well, it's not dry, but it did slow down much more, a lot less current, which means the mid-lake and towards the Tennessee portion of the lake begin to fall in depth, and it dropped about a foot or so. So it really forced those guys in that Coger Island region from there to the Trace Bridge to really have to adjust, and Corey Johnston did early in the middle of his race.
Not an easy thing when you get here in practice and the water raises 6 feet and it starts draining out the other end. At Pickwick is where they were really sucking some water out, Ronnie, and it lowered the levels.
Coming into this event, there were 2 real locals here. Justin Atkins from Mississippi, but now lives in Florence, Alabama, our host town, and Brock Mosley, still residing in Mississippi, but really grew up and cut his teeth tournament fishing-wise, big at the national level and the regional level on Pickwick. So he was excited to start this on one of what he would consider his home lake.
It can happen in a hurry on this place.
Boy, he fished from the tail race down to across from the McFarland Park, our takeoff spot, a couple miles, and he plied that bluff very well all week. Found some big smallmouth.
Wearing his Rebel Blues today. Ole Miss is his alum. That's where he fished in college. That's where he played baseball in college as well. He always whips out the blue jersey on championship day. This time it's Championship Tuesday. And Brock really started to make headway. Those 2 or 3 key fish early up in the tail race, huge for him. Then he slid down just a little bit right across from McFarland.
Monster bass.
And started catching some of those bigger smallmouth we had seen him catch midday to the afternoon every day of the event. Really started to put him together on that swim bait.
Yeah, he was a slow starter, and it was kind of hit. Here it came, every couple hours he'd land one.
Slow starter, but
afternoon.
a great midday and great late afternoon. And today he had that good start he needed to really rise the leaderboard. Bill Lowen, our co-leader coming into the final day, guy who was the only angler with 20 pounds. Day 1 and day 2.
21-3 and then 23-13.
His only tough day this week, day 3, 17 and change. But it was good enough. It was his toughest day, but he went up a spot and took the lead coming into Championship Tuesday. And really, he was the one most affected by that water dropping. All of his wood, all of the shallow cover that he was flipping his 3/8 ounce jig on, it was out of the water. No more cover for him. He had to make an adjustment, and when he moved to this slightly steeper bank, his roommate Matt Herron said, "Hey, go give it a try if your area dries up or doesn't work." And boy, did he do it and catch this one, Such.
How about that? Gets a text from Denny Brower, who was leading the event 10 years ago. Said, "Go catch a 7+ on a black and blue," and he did and bloodied the field.
Last night and told me to catching a 7-pounder on a black and blue jig. Oh my God!
Not only was it a 7, it is probably much bigger, Such.
Wow, yeah.
Probably over 8, maybe approaching 9-pound
Phoenix
territory.
Boat's big bass of the event to win.
That would be a walk-off win for sure to catch the biggest bass of the event on the final day to try to take the title. It's been a great week at Pickwick. Thanks for joining us this week.